emotional trauma you've been through recently. He told me that you were a nurse and that you and your husband David, who is a surgeon, both worked at the local hospital here in Sorenson. Some months ago, you discovered your husband was having an affair with one of your co-workers at the hospital, and this particular co-worker was then murdered. When Izzy did the autopsy, it was discovered she was pregnant, and tests proved that the baby was your husband's. You and your husband, ex-husband, I correct. I'm sorry. You and your ex-husband were suspects at one point, though you were both eventually cleared. You have now divorced him, undergone some financial ups and downs, and met a new man you have, or had, a romantic interest in. I believe Izzy said he's a local homicide detective. Is that correct? Yes. His name is Steve Hurley. Izzy said a non-fraternization rule meant you had to choose between a working relationship and a romantic one with this man. Is that correct? I nod. And you chose the latter, she says, driving that knife forward another centimeter or two. I tried to, but it didn't work out. Izzy said you resigned your position with him because you thought you were getting hired back at the hospital, but your ex-husband did some kind of political wrangling and the job fell through. Yes, it did, I say, feeling my anger build again. What David did was totally unnecessary. He'd already moved on. He's dating our insurance agent. The job I was going for was a night shift position in the emergency room. It's not like I was going back to my position as an OR nurse. David and I would have hardly ever crossed paths. But apparently, the risk of it happening even once was too much for him. He told the director of nursing that it would be too awkward. Since he's the only general surgeon on staff right now, the administration can't afford to piss him off. Izzy said you got a decent settlement in the divorce, so the unemployment wasn't a financial stressor for you. It wasn't the money that was the problem with not having a job. In fact, I was fine with it as long as I could be with Hurley. But that didn't work out either. What happened? Well, after several months of flirtation, Hurley and I finally consummated our relationship. You had sex. I nod, smiling at the memory. I take it from the expression on your face that the sex was satisfactory. Very. So what went wrong? Everything. We were still in bed when his doorbell rang. When he answered it, there was a woman and a teenage girl standing on his front porch. Turns out they were his ex-wife, who isn't really an ex because she never filed the divorce papers, and the daughter he never knew he had. Needless to say, it was a bit of a shocker. Since things haven't gone well for them lately, they moved in with Hurley. That must have been painful. You're a master of understatement. So what does Hurley plan to do from here on out? What are his plans? Where does this leave the two of you? I shrug and look away from her. What does Hurley say? I don't know. I haven't talked to him since it happened. Which was when again? A couple months ago, right after the New Year. Hurley hasn't tried to speak to you in all that time? Oh, he's tried, I say. Several people have tried, but I haven't wanted to talk with anyone. Yes, Izzy mentioned that he felt like you were avoiding him and everyone else. So what have you been doing all this time? This and that, I say with a shrug. I spent a lot of time at the casino. I discovered I like to play blackjack and occasionally some poker. It relaxes me. When was the last time you were at the casino? I hesitate a beat too long, and I know she knows I am considering a lie. Last night, I admit. Do you go there every night? Again, I hesitate, and again I realize it's pointless. Lately, I have, yes, but that will be changing. Now that I'm back working with Izzy, I have to be available to take calls. Are you okay with that? Very much so, I quickly add. I mean, I do feel bad that Jonas Creedman couldn't keep the job. I know he wanted it as much as I do. Unfortunately, he discovered he has allergies to formaldehyde and sodium fluoride that are so severe he was having trouble breathing even when he wore protective equipment. It worked out okay for him, though, because his job as an evidence tech at the police department was still open.